peace, you guys. Welcome back to Unshakeable with Chapman, where we discuss all things social, cultural, political, and theological from a biblical perspective. I'm your host, Chapman, and welcome to today's show. Y'all, we got another Democrat politician. Y'all, they always caught up in another scandal. Ugh. I mean, it's hard to kind of keep up because every week, almost, it seems like, surprise, surprise, they get caught out there. And this time it's like the accountability train just kind of pulled into the station. And one particular Florida Congresswoman, she just jumped off the platform before the doors even opened. Who are we talking about? Today we're talking about Sheila, is her name Cherfilus? Yes. So today it's Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick. And she recently resigned from Congress. And conveniently, it was right before the House Ethics Committee was set to hold a sanctions hearing against her. Now, these allegations are not small, you guys. I mean, it's pretty serious. We're not talking about somebody who accidentally, used the wrong font size on a campaign flyer. No, ma'am. This woman's being accused by federal prosecutors of stealing $5 million in FEMA funds, and then using that money to fund her own personal congressional campaign. Now, the prosecutors, they're also alleging that this money was used for personal purchases. This chick bought luxury items, including a 3-carat yellow diamond ring. You know you single as all get out. If you out here buying yourself a 3-carat yellow diamond ring. I mean, I understand treating yourself, but that's just a little bit overboard. Now, to be fair and to make sure that we are reporting accurately, she has not pled guilty. She's pled not guilty. So legally, we're dealing with some allegations here, but they are criminal in nature. But politically and ethically, y'all, the smoke has become a huge brush fire. So the House Ethics Committee, they said that most of these allegations have been proven, and they have found 25 violations of House rules and ethics standards. So I want you guys to go ahead and take a look at this clip.
Breaking news from the Hill: embattled Democratic Congresswoman Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick is now resigning amid that House ethics probe. She is now the third member to step down in just the past week. Our Jay O'Brien joins us now with the breaking news. All right, Jay, what do we know?
Yeah, Kira, this came as the Congresswoman was staring down the barrel of a very likely expulsion vote that would have happened any day now, and as the House Ethics Committee, which found her guilty about a week or so ago, even more than that, of 25 charges, if you will, though it's not a legal process, it's a political one, but found her guilty of 25 violations of House ethics rules. That same committee was preparing today to begin what is, in a sense, the sentencing phase of that guilty verdict. But again, it's not a legal process, it's a political one. That would have been then a recommendation to the entirety of the House of Representatives, potentially to expel Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick from Congress, which would have taken a 2/3 vote. But even some Democrats, McCormick's own colleagues, were preparing and signaling like they were going to vote for expulsion because of the seriousness of what she had been accused of. The House Ethics Committee again found her guilty in a sense on those 25 charges that included allegations of campaign finance violations, all of which McCormick denies. And then McCormick was also criminally charged with federal charges. She was accused of misusing and in a sense stealing $5 million of COVID relief funds and using it for personal expenses, including a gift, a golden ring that she was seen wearing in campaign photos and even her official portrait here in the House of Representatives. She has again denied any wrongdoing, and she has issued a statement. I want to read from it here, Kira. She says, quote, "This was not a fair process." She says the Ethics Committee refused her attorney's request for a delay to prepare her defense. And then she says, quote, "Rather than play these political games, I choose to step away so that I can devote my time to fighting for my neighbors in Florida's 20th Congressional District. I hereby resign from the 119th Congress." She goes on to say, "Be careful about the precedent that expelling a member who had not been convicted on criminal charges would have set. All of this brings to mind George Santos, of course, who was expelled after multiple attempts from Congress while he was still facing criminal charges. George Santos, though, the scale of fraud that he was accused of, it pales in comparison to the scale of fraud that McCormick was accused of here. But again, she denies any wrongdoing, Kira.
A 2-year investigation from the bipartisan panel finding what it called clear and convincing evidence that Cherfilus-McCormick stole $5 million in FEMA COVID-19 relief funds and funneled that money towards her campaign for Congress. The Democrat has fiercely denied the charges, telling Local 10's Glenna Milberg on This Week in South Florida that the push to expel her is part of a political attack.
And I told everybody from the beginning that this was all politically motivated to have salacious outlines, headlines.
All right, once again, you guys, we're watching the same tired political playbook. Get accused of corruption, claim it's a witch hunt. They after me. It's because I'm black. Because I'm black. They always claim it's because they black, right? Then they want to pull on your heartstrings and talk about the people and then resign right before the consequences start knocking. So here we are again. You saw the news clip. And I want everybody to pay attention to the timing of all of this. Y'all, timing tells a story. This woman didn't resign when the allegations first surfaced. This didn't just happen yesterday. She didn't even resign when the DOJ indictment came down. And you would think after all of that, when the ethics committee began their investigation, which has been going on for over 2 years, that she might be like, you know what, maybe this is my time to bow out. She and her arrogant self was like, no. She resigned literally moments before the House Ethics Committee hearing was supposed to start. That is not someone who's like, you know what, I'ma just step aside for the good of the people. What that action was screaming, oh Lord, they bought the receipts. Let me exit stage left. This chick, right before the hearing that could have led to a recommendation that she'd be kicked out of Congress, they'd already determined that she's violated multiple federal laws and House rules. So I'm like, why are we playing games? This woman is trying to frame this as if this was some overnight ambush. And then she was like, you know, my legal people didn't have enough time to prepare my defense. And I'm like, ma'am, they've been investigating you for over 2 years. If you're trying to frame this like an overnight ambush, that dog won't hunt in the usual eternal victim fashion. This woman wants us to believe that the ethics committee just woke up one day and said, you know what? I think today would be a good day to pick on Sheila. Okay, like that's how she's trying to make it seem. And the ethics committee chairman said that they have spent 2.5 years investigating this situation. They've reviewed tens and thousands of documents. They have spoken to so many witnesses. 2.5 years. Y'all, that's not some little microwave investigation. That's not a little probe. That is a crock pot situation. Okay, they were cooking this bad boy low and slow. And that left plenty of time for the meat of corruption and fraud to just fall off the bone. And she knew this, but her response was, oh, this is so not fair. This is a witch hunt, right? You know, my due process rights are being trampled. And my good name, isn't it funny? They always claim they got a good name. She's like, my good name is being tarnished. And I'm like, ma'am, your good name did not trip and fall into a FEMA fund. Your good name did not just accidentally purchase a 3-carat diamond ring. Your good name did not just somehow wander into campaign finance violations wearing sunglasses and a fake mustache at some point. The question is not whether people are being mean to you. The question is, did you do it? That's really all we, the taxpayer, care about. Did you do it? Did you steal the money? Did you use disaster funds intended for public relief to help yourself politically? Did you use public trust as your personal piggy bank? I mean, you were out here balling out of control with luxury items in a 3-carat diamond ring. Because this is the part where these politicians, they don't never want to answer this part. They just want to talk about the process, right? They want to talk about, oh, this is the persecution that they're under and how the precedent of this, they're just witch hunt and looking for every nook and cranny for someone to just do something bad. I'm like, no, I know you think that this is you're the victim in all of this. But they never want to talk about the money, right? Like, where did the money go? Who touched it? Who benefited from it? Who signed off on it? Who lied, right? Who covered it up? Who was involved? Because when the facts start lining up, suddenly everybody becomes a constitutional scholar. Oh, we must protect due process, Yeah. I'm like, okay, listen. We believe in due process. Absolutely. I'm a constitutional conservative. I absolutely love due process. But due process does not mean that you get to hide behind your congressional office forever. It's not how it works, okay? Due process does not mean that Congress can't investigate its own members. Due process does not mean that voters are required to keep you in power while the evidence just keeps stacking up like laundry at a laundromat. We are so sick and tired of you lying, thieving Democrats. How many more of these unsung Democrat heroes have to fall by the wayside in order for people to wake up and realize that this is a pattern? This is a pattern. I've been seeing it, and it's been happening for so long, but this is what bothers me. Every time one of these politicians get caught with their hand in a cookie jar, right? Or the FEMA jar in this instance, or the campaign jar. I mean, it's all kind of commingled together at this point, but suddenly it's a witch hunt. Your hand is in the jar, but we are witch hunting after you. Y'all, let me be clear. I know y'all, if you watch this channel, you know I despise Democrats. I absolutely do. I would want nothing more than to bring the whole Democrat Party down. But any politician from any political party can be corrupt. Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian, Green Party, Purple Party, Polka Dot. Like, it doesn't matter. Mankind is sinful and our hearts are wicked, especially apart from Christ. And when you put people in power, power can corrupt you. Money can tempt you. And public office attracts people who love applause more than they love being held accountable. So this is not about pretending that corruption only exists on one side. That's not it. Okay, that's not my argument. But my argument is that we do need to tell the truth about a particular political culture that has mastered the art of turning accountability into oppression. Like, especially when it comes to the identity politics wing of the Democrat Party. The moment you can't even question them, because the moment they are questioned, the moment the receipts come out, like the receipts can be staring you in the face. And the consequences just coming. Not one time do you ever hear them say, let me just answer honestly. They say, oh, you're attacking me. This is political racism, hate, bigotry, and misogyny. They will put on the victim costume so fast. And the reason why they do it, they are one-trick ponies. This worked for a really long time. Like, for years, this worked. But too many voters have been trained to believe that representation must mean that you need someone with your skin complexion in order to represent you. They think, well, she looks like me. She will fight for me. No, 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 no. That is not how this works. Skin tone is not a political strategy, and melanin count is not a moral compass. I don't care about your blackness, okay? It is not a substitute for good character. You can have somebody who looks like you, who talks like you, who goes to the same church as you, shouts out the same neighborhood and hashtags and slogans and do all of the things, and they will steal from you, right? Like, you can be black And Black people can betray you. I know that's hard for you to understand. You can be from the community and exploit the same community. We see it all the time. You can say, my constituents, and you can say it with a whole lot of tears in your eyes while allegedly using disaster funds and making that bad boy rain like campaign confetti. This is why voting based on identity is just dumb. It is foolish. And how Christians get caught up in this is beyond me. Because the Bible never tells us to choose leaders based on skin color. And I don't even like calling politicians our leaders. They are public servants. But we are repeatedly told in scripture where character is emphasized, justice and honesty and wisdom, self-control, and just overall a basic standard of righteousness. But do you want to know how none of this is shocking? None of this is shocking because entitlement politics produces entitled politicians. So I want to deal with worldview for a moment. I'm going to draw a connection between worldview and how we can pretty much predict how this will go. Behavior flows from belief. So if your political worldview is built on entitlement, and if you believe that other people's money exists for you to redistribute, right? If you believe that success, you should look at success as suspicious, because if a person has worked hard and amassed a lot of wealth, then somehow you believe you're entitled to it and you can steal from them. And if your worldview is like, well, taxation is compassionate because we're taking this money and then we're giving it to these people over here. It's the idea that dependency is justice. If these are some of the ideological worldviews and frameworks from which your politics is built, why are you shocked when politicians from that same system start acting like other people's money belongs to them? I'm not saying that every Democrat steals, but I am saying that entitlement politics creates entitlement politicians. When your ideology says the government should take more and the rich should pay more and that taxpayers should fund more and producers should be punished more, dependents should be subsidized more, listen, eventually the spirit of entitlement, it doesn't just stay in policy. It becomes your personal mindset. It becomes the lens from which you view everything. It speaks to, I deserve this and I demand this and the system owes me this and the community needs me and my campaign is righteous, so therefore the cause is noble. And then y'all wonder, these Democrats claim that they're fighting for the poor, but they're always stealing from the poor so that they can get rich. They always talk about taxing the millionaires and wanting the millionaires to pay their fair share, but yet they don't have a problem stealing from you so that they can join the millionaire and the billionaire class. And then when the investigation comes out, suddenly they victims. They're the martyrs. They're the ones that are being persecuted. No. You're not Harriet Tubman because the ethics committee asked where did the FEMA money go and questioned your campaign finance records. You can cry persecution all day long and act like you're being marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge because Congress wants to know whether the disaster relief money funded your political ambition. Stop it. This is why I keep saying that a Black America cannot afford to keep electing people based on identity, grievance, and resentment. We've had enough of this. Where are the leaders with character? Where are the leaders with fiscal responsibility in their purview and personal responsibility in their lives and in their politics? We need leaders who understand that, listen, public office is an office of trust. It is not a treasure chest, because when politicians lack personal responsibility, they'll never practice fiscal responsibility. If you can't govern yourself, you're not going to be able to govern public resources. Listen, people like Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick, if they can't govern themselves, then they cannot govern public resources. Like, if they can't even, she couldn't even tell herself no. If she can't tell herself no, she's not going to tell a lobbyist no. At some point, if you can't steward your own ambition, you're not going to steward taxpayer dollars well. If a person's entire political career is built on telling people that they are victims, eventually they're going to use the victimhood to excuse themselves. That is exactly what we are watching here. The worldview of the Black Democrat politician, it flows, not just their worldview is demonstrated in their actions and how they move in office, and then how they respond when legitimate criticism is levied their way. If all you do is train people to be victims and to be grieved, then when things happen to them, they will act like a victim and continue to be grieved. The will of the people is for elected officials to function as public servants who are accountable to the law, who are accountable to the ethics rules, and they're accountable to the Constitution. It's been demonstrated that this woman violated over 25 ethics rules. And so therefore, yes, you are accountable to the people, but ultimately this woman is going to be accountable to God. We have Romans 13 that teaches us that the governing authorities are servants of God for good, not personal enrichment machines. So I am interested in hearing, what do you guys think about this? Are you shocked that another Black Democrat female is found guilty or is allegedly guilty of fraud? Waste, fraud, and abuse. Are you shocked or surprised? I'm not. I am interested to know, what do you guys think about this? Do you believe that this was some sort of witch hunt? That this woman was targeted for whatever reason, and that maybe the 3-carat yellow diamond ring wasn't the tell? I don't know. But I want to hear from you guys, your thoughts on this. Are you outraged, or you're like, this is just business as usual for Black Democrat politics? Whatever it is that you guys think, leave me your comments down in the box below. And until next time, you guys, stand firm, stay bold, and above all else, stay unshakable. Grace and peace.